Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka? That means hello. How are you doing? Let me know if you guys can hear. It looks like there's a few people here. Leilani, hello. Good to see you. And Barbara, hello. Good to see you as well. Let me know if the audio is good. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, give me a thumbs up or a love, a little heart symbol. So I hope you guys learned a lot on our last episode, which was yesterday. We made the okara, the tonyu or soy milk, as well as tofu. So 3 different things. Today we're going to build on that, and I have a big mess here on my counter. I wanted to do a few things for you today. First thing that I wanted to do is make some space. I was going to do a asparagus dish with okara. So I have all of the okara that we made yesterday, excuse me. This is about 2 cups worth. What we're going to do is we're going to marinate it in a mixture of mirin, miso. This is about 4 tablespoons of miso, and then all of the okara, a half cup of mirin, and we're going to let that marinate overnight, and we're going to eat it tomorrow. It's going to be very tasty. First thing that we need to do, though, to get this going is to blanch the asparagus. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything similar to this. This is like a miso zuke, a little bit different because we're using okara. It's going to give it a nice texture and also a different flavor profile than if we were just going to use straight miso. Let me know in the comments if you guys have used miso to season your vegetables before. It's one of my favorite ways to eat vegetables. It's very healthy and it tastes delicious because miso packs a ton of flavor. I'm just going to get my big pot here. We're going to go ahead and prepare some boiling water with a little bit of salt, and we're going to blanch the asparagus for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. I like to have a little bit of a bite in there. And in case you're wondering, this is 1 bunch. So while that's going, we can go ahead and start on all of the other things that I wanted to make today. So let's put in a couple pinches of salt there. And once this starts boiling, I'll drop in the asparagus, blanch it, and then shock it in some cold water. Go ahead and get this bowl ready here. So there's that. And then the other thing I wanted to do is make a tofu salad. So very straightforward. I don't know if you guys have ever used tofu in your dishes before, but if you have, let me know. So hello it is, whoever it is that just joined, 3rd person, good to have you here. What we're doing is we're going to make an asparagus, which is going to be marinated in the miso okara. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this in. Like I mentioned, this is 2 cups of okara, the soybean pulp that we used, or that was a product of our soy milk production yesterday. Very nutritious. So make sure to get all of that out there. And this is already cooked, so you don't need to recook it, or you don't need to cook it in the first place. I've seen some soy milk recipes where they actually separate the okara from the soy milk before it's cooked, and in that case you would have to cook it, but this is already done and ready to go. So very tasty. That's a close-up of this dish if you want to see what that looks like. And then I'm going to drop in the miso paste, get our marinade going, and then this is a half cup of mirin. You can mix everything in there. The spatula. Where did my other spatula go? I guess I only have 1 spatula. Okay. So I'm just going to try to make this evenly distributed, and that's all there is to it. Once we have finished marinating the asparagus in this mixture, what you can do is use the marinade for rice or other vegetables if you want. This is a very healthy side dish. And while that's going, or while this is marinating overnight, I was thinking also about doing a baked recipe with the okara, or hambagu, which is like the hamburger patty, but with okara, which is another popular way to eat okara, as well as korokke, which is like a fried version. But I stayed away from those temptations because I was trying to be healthy today, or this week, especially after eating all that heavy and rich food I did over Thanksgiving. I don't know what kind of food you guys ate, but I feel like I ate a lot of rich and heavy foods. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me. You just want to try to evenly distribute the okara and the miso as much as possible. And once the asparagus finishes, we're going to go ahead and drop it in here and then let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow it'll be ready to serve. Usually about 8 to 10 hours is how long I'd recommend you season it, and that's that. So I cover this up so it doesn't dry out. So next thing that I wanted to do was to do a salad. So we're going to use some baby greens. Just got some Trader Joe's baby green mix here and some mizuna. We're just going to use probably about half a bunch of mizuna, and then we're going to make the dressing from scratch using sesame seeds. So if you can see here, I toasted some sesame seeds. They're nice and gold, about 1/4 cup. And then we're going to blend that with some mirin, some soy sauce, honey, and sesame oil. So that'll be a very light Japanese style dressing. And that's going to be topped with a little bit of tofu. Where did the tofu go? This is the tofu that we made yesterday. So this is how the one little block, these are pieces of the little block, how they turned out yesterday. I didn't eat any. I just saved all of it for today. Just checking on the water here. So the water is boiling. I'm going to go ahead and blanch this for a minute and 30 seconds. Make sure that all of it's submerged. Okay, and then while that's going, I have some rice here because what I wanted to do was make a donburi, or a rice bowl, with our yuba. So if you remember, we made yuba yesterday, all that hard work. This is, I stood here probably for another 40 minutes after we finished the live stream to cook all this yuba. And that's our product. I filled it in with some soy milk so it didn't dry out. That helps to keep the texture. Turn down the heat there. And let's go ahead and finish up this mizuna salad. So these are mizuna greens. They have a very mild flavor, and they're one of my favorite vegetables, especially to put into a salad. I don't know if you guys have ever used mizuna before, but it's one of my favorite leafy greens. It's very easy to grow if you've never grown it before. Looks like Alice just joined. Good to have you, Alice. Okay, so give that another 30, 40 seconds, and then we'll strain it. Get my strainer ready. And then we'll put it in some cold water to stop the cooking. And that also helps to preserve the color. So if you've noticed asparagus turning yellow brownish, that usually happens like if you have overcooked it or you didn't shock it with cold water to stop the cooking. So I think this should be about done. So you can see here, they're bright green right now, so we're going to strain it. And then shock this with cold water. You guys have any tips for cooking asparagus? I used to never shock them with cold water. I always used to just eat it hot. And then I realized what I was doing wrong. So I'd always end up with like brown asparagus. Same thing with like okra, green beans as well. Any of those green vegetables, I feel like shocking them with cold water is key. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I like my asparagus firm. I like to have a firm bite to it, which is why I only do it for a minute and 30 seconds. You could do it, I guess, 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds if you want more of a soft texture. It's personal preference there. So we'll let these chill for, I don't know, a minute or two before we actually put it into the marinade. And then we'll be done with that. So let's go ahead and finish up this salad. Sometimes these open really easily and sometimes they don't. This one doesn't want to open. Just put a little bit in here. I usually like to put some avocado and tomatoes in, but I don't have any of that today, so we're just gonna keep it plain and simple and mix everything together. Top it with a few blocks of tofu. Obviously, if you didn't make your tofu from scratch, you could still enjoy this. So there's that. And then now we just need to finish the dressing. So the dressing is pretty easy. We're just going to use my food processor to mix everything together. So this is a 1/4 cup of toasted white sesame seeds. You can also use black sesame seeds if you want a different flavor and a different color. This is hot still? It's not hot yet. Put this in here. And the old-fashioned method would be to use the suribachi, or the mortar and pestle, to grind it, but it takes more time. All right, so there's that. Always get stuck here on the top of this where the food processor touches. I don't know if you guys have that problem, if you have a different food processor than me. I don't know if my chat is updating. It doesn't look like my chat is working there. So sorry if you guys are commenting, I'm not seeing it. Janet. Hello, Janet. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. So we're adding about a teaspoon of honey to sweeten the dressing. We're making a tofu salad for you guys that are just joining with the tofu that we made yesterday. We're going to put a tablespoon of mirin in here, and then a tablespoon of soy sauce. Just eyeball this. And then a tablespoon of sesame oil. Give that an eyeball as well. And then we're going to process everything together. So it's up to you if you want to process it all the way so that you have everything like a smooth paste. But I like to have the sesame seeds nice and chunky, and plus you get enough of the sesame flavor and aroma from the oil. And if you want acidity in there, you can add like a few drops of lemon juice or rice vinegar. But we're going to keep it nice and thick today. Almost kind of like dressing with croutons mixed in. Okay, so there's our salad. That was our first dish of the night. Easy, very healthy. You can actually make this your complete meal if you wanted to, because it has tofu in it and it'll fill you up with plenty of protein. Have you guys ever made tofu before with the salad? Tofu salad, I mean? If you have, let me know in the comments. I want to hear what kind of salads you guys make, or if you guys even like salads. Okay, so now, while you guys think about that, we're going to go ahead and finish the main dish, which is going to be the yuba donburi. I'm going to make some space here. I don't need this. I have some hot rice going right here. And I have a tube of wasabi, which we're going to serve with the yuba. We're going to use a tablespoon of mirin, a tablespoon of sake, and then you can use either regular soy sauce, regular shoyu, or usukuchi shoyu, which is light soy sauce, depending on how salty you want it. And then in here I have some dashi that I just made, nice and hot. We're only going to use about a cup's worth. We're going to do two people's portions today. And this is the yuba. I'm going to heat this on low in the microwave for about 3 or 4 minutes. You just want to heat it through. You don't want to cook it. You just want to make sure that it's warm. So that's what we're going to do here. And so this is going to be an ankake. So if you've never heard of ankake before, it's going to be like a thick gravy-like sauce that's made with dashi, soy sauce, and sake today, as well as a little bit of mirin. And it's going to be thickened with potato starch. If you don't have potato starch, just use cornstarch. Works just the same. And this is a tablespoon dissolved in about 2 tablespoons of water. That's going to be our thickener. And we're going to put it into a separate pot, since we're not going to use all of this. So I'm going to measure out about a cup and a half. So there's that. And I think I was talking and I didn't do this on low heat. So I'm just going to use the defrost method and do it for another couple minutes. And if you're lucky, if you don't make your own yuba at home, they do sell dried yuba, which is similar. The texture is usually a little bit more firm, but it's better than nothing, especially if you like yuba. So that's going to go for a few minutes, and let's go ahead and measure out the sauce ingredients for the ankake. So like I mentioned, we have a tablespoon of mirin here, and then we're going to do a tablespoon of soy sauce. And then a tablespoon of sake. And then we're going to stir that into the dashi stock that we just measured out. And then we're going to thicken it with the potato starch slurry. And then once our yuba is done, we're going to top it with the rice. The rice should be done in about 13 minutes. Sometimes I take it out a little bit early, so it doesn't matter if it's completely done or not. I'm going to heat this up because this needs to be at a very hot temperature to activate the starch so that it thickens. If you've ever cooked with starch before, you'll know that it needs to be at a certain temperature before it starts to thicken. So always, key point whenever you're working with starch and you're trying to thicken a sauce is to stir it, because I guess you can't really see too well here, but it's already settled at the bottom. So on the top layer, it's water, and then on the bottom layer, it's all the starch that's settled. So you always got to mix it up. And then we're going to top it. This is a shiso leaf that I pulled from my arrow garden. Not doing so hot, but we're just going to use a little bit for garnish. And then I have some ginger. We're going to freshly grate some ginger. And that'll be our seasoning for the ankake yuba don that we're making. So if you've ever worked with ginger, have you ever used a spoon to de-skin it? Let me know in the comments. I used to always use a knife, paring knife. It was a lot of work. And then I saw somebody on video doing it with a spoon. I was like, oh, I should do that. And ever since then, I always use a spoon. Oh yeah, so I don't know if all of you are in my Daidokoro Facebook group or not, but I did put a promo code in there for Laura soybeans, 10% off. You can get a 10% discount on your order, your first order. That's where I get my soybeans, and that's what we made all of this tofu, the yuba, and the okara with yesterday, is their product. You can definitely check them out if you want to make this on your own. So we're just going to grate probably about maybe a teaspoon. Depends how much ginger you want. I don't really feel like too much ginger today. And this will be our garnish for the yuba donburi. All right, that looks good. And then we'll finish it with a little bit of wasabi. It looks like there's a few people that joined. Let us know where you're watching from if you're just joining. We are almost halfway through, I think a little bit over halfway. We started off with a tofu salad, which you can see right here. And then we have some asparagus going. I should actually put it into the marinade and turn off the yuba so that it doesn't cook, because we don't want the soy milk that it's soaked in to cook. And let's go ahead and finish up the asparagus. So this is an okara miso zuke, which just means like you're seasoning a vegetable. And in today's case, it's going to be asparagus. So we blanched the asparagus for 1 minute and 30 seconds and then shocked it with cold water so that it stays nice and green. And I broke off the bottom part. You know how asparagus, if you worked a lot with asparagus, you know that you can break it naturally at one point. And that's where the rough part is supposed to go away, the chewy part. Obviously, you don't want to dilute your seasoning with water, so I'm just wrapping it up or wiping off the excess water there. I'm going to put that in here. Make sure that the seasoning is touching all of these little pieces. And tomorrow we'll serve this at our final, our final day of the challenge. I don't know, for some reason the comments aren't coming through, so I apologize if you guys are messaging me. Looks like Yoriko joined. Good to see you, Yoriko. I haven't seen you in a long time. And don't see anybody else that I recognize. So if this is your first time here, let us say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions. But like I mentioned, this is okara, miso, and mirin. And you can actually use this, whatever is left over, to do another batch. You can use like broccoli or green beans. This seasoning works well with it. Or you can just, eat it with rice, white rice. Another delicious way to use up the seasoning here. So I'm just trying to make sure that all of the marinade is touching the asparagus to some extent. Have you guys made anything similar to this before? Let me know in the comments. So it looks like Yoriko just came back from Japan. I'm jealous. I wish I came back from Japan. Actually, no, I don't wish I came back. I wish I was there right now. I'd be eating some good Japanese food. Was it cold when you were there? My parents just came back from Japan last week. They said that it wasn't too cold, that it was kind of like California weather. California's pretty warm right now. It's been around 75 degrees the past few days. Okay, dashi is ready to go. We're going to mix in the sake. Do you guys remember? Did I did I measure out the sake yet? I don't remember if I measured out the sake. I think I did. Let's see. There's the mirin. There's the shoyu, soy sauce, and then the sake. Yeah, 3 tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon of each. That's what happens when you talk and you cook at the same time. It's not a good thing. Okay, so this is ready. All we're going to do now at this point is thicken it. This is also ready, so we can get this out of the way, put it in the fridge, let it sit overnight, at least 8 to 10 hours. This is ready to go. We're going to enjoy that tomorrow. Our tofu salad's ready to go. Now we're going to finish up with our yuba, donburi. Rice is almost done. We heated the yuba in here. Like it spilled a little bit. Hopefully I didn't cook it. So I'll show you what this looks like from yesterday. Find some good pieces in here. Got to be very careful with it because it's delicate. So here's a piece right there. I don't know what your favorite part is, but when I have yuba soaked in tonyu or soy milk, it's one of my favorites because it's so rich and creamy, and it's not bad for you, which makes it even better because usually rich and creamy means it's like butter and cream and a lot of fat. So this has fat too, but it's good fat. It's plant fat. So Janet says she just made cucumber marinated in miso and sake. That sounds really good. All right, guys, so I'm just stirring up the potato starch here, making sure that it's all suspended in the water solution, and we're going to drop it in, and then the sauce will thicken up right away. Always want to make sure to stir it. So if you want an extra thick sauce, you can go up to like 1.5 tablespoons for a cup of dashi, and I wouldn't really go more than that because it's going to be really thick. Or if you want it more soupy, use a little bit less, maybe like 2 teaspoons worth of potato starch or cornstarch. And I'm just going to grab a bowl. We'll do a little bowl today. All of my bowls are dirty. I need to do the dishes. Dishwashing day. We're going to do a little bowl here. You don't usually use this, but we're going to use it because it's all we have. And my rice is not quite done yet, but sometimes I take it out early. I don't know about you guys. Yoriko's asking, where did I buy my yuba? I didn't buy it. Yesterday we made it. We made it from scratch. So, but on my last trip, when I went to Kyoto earlier this year, there's a yuba store near the Nishiki market that specializes in yuba. So I bought a package from that place. And then also one of the stores in Tokyo, we bought some yuba there as well. I forgot what store it was called, but if you wait a minute, I will show you what it looks like. So yuba is pretty expensive, so I don't really go too crazy when I'm buying it. This little box of yuba from, this is the store that I got it at in Kyoto. This costs like 40 bucks, but it has, or 4,000 yen, so around $40. This is what it looks like if you've never seen it before. It's dried yuba, and it comes in all these different shapes. And all you have to do is reconstitute it with hot water or dashi stock. And this is how it looks. So this is yuba, dried yuba. 40 bucks worth of dried yuba. So these are little yuba rolls, and it's good stuff. Doesn't compare to freshly made yuba, but if you don't want to spend like 2 or 3 hours cooking up yuba on your own, this is the next best alternative. And then, so that's like the more high-end, like specialty store yuba. And then this is like the cheaper stuff. They sell this at the market. Kyo yuba. This is also from, where is this from? This is from Gunma-ken. It's a different company. It's not from Kyoto. I'm turning down the heat there. The same thing. You just want to reconstitute this with a little bit of water or dashi stock, and you can eat it within about 3-4 minutes. I think I showed you guys this on one of my last videos. We did miso shiru, or miso soup, with yuba. So one of my favorite things to eat. And you can see my sauce is super thick now, just like the way we want it to be. And it smells delicious, just like any ankake sauce would taste or smell. And we're gonna go ahead and season or serve the rice. Just wrap everything up. So let's give the rice a little bit of a stir. And by the way, right now is a good time to buy rice because they have the new crop rice. Have you guys ever had new crop rice? Shinmai? Delicious. I didn't know rice could taste so good until I went to Japan and I had really good rice. Have you guys had rice that tastes so good that you don't need to season it? Like it has enough flavor and aroma on its own? That's when you know you have good rice. And that's one of the reasons why I brought back like 10 kilos of rice on my last trip. Okay, so there's that. I don't know why my chat is not working on my app today. So we're just gonna go ahead and top this with top the rice with a little bit of yuba, and then we're gonna top it with the ankake sauce, and then a little bit of wasabi, and a little bit of ginger, and then we're gonna chop up my little shiso leaf, and then that'll be our dinner for today. I tried to layer these because they're difficult to find, the irregular pieces of yuba, and they're homemade. As you saw when they were dried in that packaging, they're very similar in shape. But this is probably what I look forward to most when making soy milk at home, is making yuba. Here's a nice long piece right there. Definitely a delicacy. I wish that there was like a tofu restaurant here in LA. I would be there all the time, especially if they serve yuba. Yuba. Can I tell you a funny story? When my dad heard about Uber, you guys know Uber, the car ride sharing service? Since English wasn't his first language, he pronounces things pretty funny sometimes. So instead of saying Uber, he calls, and plus there's no sound in Japanese, right? So he says, instead of Uber, he says uba, uba, just like yuba. A little bit of a different pronunciation, but funny story. I always make fun of him when he says uba, 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 yuba. All right, so here's the little miniature donburi with yuba, and then we're gonna top it with a little bit of the ankake sauce, the an sauce. I'll just put this over here so you guys can see it. Should probably use a serving spoon. As you can see, this is super light, a complete meal really, with a little bit of rice. Pour this thick glaze on here. Oh yeah. Just get that in slow motion and make you drool. Love this. And then we'll chop the shiso. If you don't have shiso, you can also use green onion. I always roll it up like a basil leaf. I don't know how you guys do it. Ooh. So Alice is saying she knows of a restaurant in LA where they always made their rice in a kama, and there were a couple big kamas that had rice cooking. That was really good rice. Yes, I bet. So, just gonna chop that up very loosely. Top this right here, put it on the bottom, a little bit of shiso. And then there's my yuba, my miniature yuba donburi. So, cannot wait to eat this. It's gonna be so good. I guess the other good thing about making yuba at home is that you can eat it while you're making it. And I ate a pretty good amount of it yesterday. That's why there isn't too much left. Usually, I'll have a little bit more than this, but I was eating it yesterday with just some soy sauce, and it was so good. So here is that, the donburi. We did our asparagus and we did our tofu salad. Not too bad in about 30 minutes time, right? Most of the hard work was done yesterday. So we're enjoying the fruits of our labor, the tofu of our labor today. So tips. I would say that if you're gonna make yuba at home, always make sure to soak it in soy sauce, or not soy sauce, in soy milk, like I have here. Otherwise the texture won't be the same. And try to layer it evenly so that you can pull it out very easily, like I did today. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys have any questions or not. Yeah, Janet says, so she's never found shiso in London, in Ontario. Have you looked online? I actually ordered, the first time I ordered shiso and grew it on my own, there's this company called Kitazawa Seed Company. They're based up in Oakland. And I grew the shiso from seed using their seeds. They're actually in my arrow garden right now. I have one plant that survived. So that's where this little tiny leaf came from. I'm saving the big leaves so that the plant continues to grow. It's probably about this big right now. I planted it with basil, and the basil like just took off. So the basil is like out of control, and then the shiso is just this little plant. But the basil is maturing, so I've been cutting it back quite a bit. I'll share a picture with you guys later today. And so tomorrow we have yuba left over. We have our asparagus. We have some tofu left here. I think tomorrow what we're going to do is a nabe. I'm thinking we should do yudofu, which is very simple dish, but it's a good way to enjoy homemade tofu, which we're going to eat up tomorrow. And maybe we'll do a dessert. Thinking about a dessert. I have a lot of okara left over that I've frozen from previous soy milk and tofu making sessions. So we have some okara we can also use. So we might be able to bake something tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But that's going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And as I always say, otsukare-sama. Thank you. Good work. And I hope this inspires you to give cooking with tofu and cooking with soy milk a try. As you can see, there's a lot of things that we made today. And that's going to be it. So hopefully you guys will tune in tomorrow. Make sure to check out that discount code TOFURYORI, which is in the Daidokoro Facebook group, as well as the replay if you need to later on. And then I'll post the recipes by tomorrow. And if you sign up on the email list, I'll send them out to you so that you have your own little PDF booklet. And then we might run a little giveaway as a challenge to finish everything off, just like we did with the dashi challenge. If you're interested in trying this out for yourself, by all means, hope you give it a try. And that's going to be it for today. So thank you again for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you tomorrow. So, see you later.